The sun dipped low over the sleepy town of Willow Creek as Emma leaned against the weathered porch railing, her gaze tracing the golden horizon. She whispered, "It's strange how moments like these feel both eternal and fleeting." Her fingers absent-mindedly traced the grooves of the wood beneath her, the scent of pine and earth filling the crisp air. Across the street, Jacob approached, the evening light catching the soft curve of his smile. "I never thought I'd find a place where time stands still," he said softly. Their eyes met, a quiet understanding passing between them. Two souls woven together by years of shared memories and unspoken hopes. The world outside hushed, holding its breath as their story began anew. Inside the cozy kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee mingled with the faint hum of early morning chatter. Emma stirred her cup slowly, the clink of the spoon breaking the quiet as Jacob sat across from her, eyes searching. "Do you remember when we first met here?" he asked quietly, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. Emma smiled. "How could I forget? You spilled coffee on my favorite book." Their laughter filled the room, warmth spreading beyond the walls. Outside, the sun crept over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. In that simple kitchen, wrapped in familiarity, they found comfort in the steady rhythm of shared history, ready to face whatever came next. Later that day, Emma wandered through the town's bustling market, colors and sounds swirling around her like a living painting. She paused by a stand selling wildflowers, fingertips brushing petals with a quiet reverence. Nearby, Jacob watched her with a soft smile, his eyes reflecting a deep affection. "You always find the beauty in the smallest things," he said, voice low but steady. Emma glanced up, cheeks flushed with surprise and joy. "Maybe it's because I've learned to see it through your eyes," she whispered. The market buzzed on, but in that brief exchange, time slowed, a fragile bubble where their hearts quietly spoke the language of belonging. As afternoon melted into evening, Emma and Jacob found themselves on a quiet hill overlooking the town. The sky was a canvas of deepening blues and fiery streaks, stars beginning to twinkle faintly above. Jacob reached out, fingers entwining with Emma's as he said, "No matter where life takes us, this place, these moments, they're ours." Emma's voice was barely audible, filled with reverence. "I don't want to imagine a future without this." Their silhouettes were etched against the horizon, two figures tethered by time, hope, and an unspoken promise. The wind whispered around them, carrying the fragile magic of a love quietly unfolding. Night settled over Willow Creek, wrapping the town in a blanket of silence. Inside Emma's home, soft candlelight flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Jacob traced the outline of Emma's face, his voice a gentle murmur, "You've changed everything." Emma smiled, her eyes shimmering in the dim glow. Maybe it was always meant to be. Outside, the moon cast silver light through the window, a quiet witness to the fragile beauty of two hearts learning to beat as one. In that small room, time lost meaning. Their story was no longer just a memory. It was living, breathing, unfolding with every shared breath, every whispered word, every touch. Morning fog rolled gently over Willow Creek, cloaking the familiar streets in a soft gray veil. Emma stood by the window, watching as Jacob tightened the laces on his worn boots. "There's a restlessness in the air," Jacob said quietly, his eyes distant yet steady. Emma nodded. "Maybe it's time we stopped waiting for life to happen and started chasing it ourselves." The weight of unspoken dreams hovered between them, fragile yet insistent. Outside, the town stirred slowly, unaware of the crossroads looming over two hearts. Emma's voice trembled with hope and fear intertwined. "Whatever happens, we face it together." The future felt vast, uncertain, but their hands remained tightly clasped, grounding them in the moment. The local diner buzzed with the clatter of dishes and murmur of conversations as Emma and Jacob slid into their usual booth. Jacob's eyes searched hers, voice low but firm. "I got the offer, Emma. The chance to move, start fresh in the city." Her heart quickened, a cocktail of excitement and dread. "It's everything we dreamed of, but leaving this behind feels like losing a part of us." She reached across the table, fingers curling around his, Maybe home isn't a place, but what we carry with us. The hum of the diner faded as they sat in a bubble of possibility and fear, the weight of choice hanging heavy but alive with promise. The town library smelled of old paper and quiet stories as Emma wandered between shelves, fingers brushing spines worn by time. Jacob followed, his voice gentle. Whatever we choose, our story won't be lost here. She smiled wistfully, pulling out a leather-bound journal. I've kept notes of every step, every dream, every fear. He nodded, eyes softening. We're writing it together, page by page. Outside, sunlight filtered through stained glass, casting fragments of color that danced across the wooden floor. In that hushed sanctuary, time slowed, the past and future converging as two hearts dared to imagine new chapters unfolding beyond the familiar walls. Twilight wrapped the town in a cloak of purple and deep blue, as Emma and Jacob walked hand in hand along the riverbank. The gentle current whispered secrets beneath the fading light, while distant lanterns flickered on nearby boats. Jacob's voice broke the silence. Do you think we'll find what we're looking for out there? Emma squeezed his hand. Maybe it's not about finding, but creating our own path through the unknown. Stars began to twinkle overhead, mirroring the hope in their eyes. The river's song wove around them, a quiet promise carried on the breeze that whatever storms came, they would face them side by side. Back in Emma's living room, the crackling fireplace cast a warm glow over scattered photographs and keepsakes. Jacob traced a faded picture of them, laughing under the summer sun. These moments, they anchor me, he murmured. Emma nodded, pulling a blanket tighter around her shoulders. They remind me of where we've been, and who we still want to be. Outside, the wind whispered against the window panes, as shadows danced across the walls. The room felt like a sanctuary, a sacred space where past and future intertwined. They sat in comfortable silence, the quiet hum of the fire echoing the steady pulse of their shared heartbeat, the story of them unfolding, layer by layer. A restless energy filled the air as Emma stood at the edge of the old train station platform, the rumble of an approaching engine growing louder. Jacob arrived beside her, the weight of unspoken decisions pressing down. This journey feels like the start of everything and nothing all at once, he said, voice low and uncertain. Emma's gaze held his, steady and sure. Whatever happens, we carry this, our roots, our love. The whistle blew, echoing across the empty tracks, a call to the unknown. They clasped hands tightly, hearts synchronized in the fleeting seconds before change swept in, carrying them toward an uncertain horizon, where dreams and fears intertwined, like smoke in the morning light. The city skyline emerged through the window, a patchwork of glass and steel rising toward the sun. Emma leaned her head against the cool glass, Jacob beside her, fingers intertwined. This place is alive, chaotic and thrilling, she said quietly, eyes wide with wonder. Jacob nodded, a mixture of excitement and trepidation in his smile. It's everything we hoped for, but it demands more than we imagined. The streets below pulsed with energy, honking horns, hurried footsteps, neon signs flickering alive as day gave way to night. Amid the city's relentless rhythm, they found small moments of stillness, carving out their own space in the sprawling mosaic of dreams and struggles. Late into the night, the hum of the city was a distant murmur as Emma and Jacob sat on a rooftop terrace, wrapped in blankets against the cool air. We traded the quiet for this, Jacob mused, eyes tracing constellations barely visible beyond the city glow. Emma smiled softly, but maybe this noise is the sound of us growing, evolving. Between them, the warmth of shared laughter and whispered dreams filled the space, a fragile balance between fear and hope. The world below seemed vast and daunting, yet up here, amid the scattered stars and distant lights, they found a sanctuary, a moment suspended in time where their love could breathe and expand. Days blurred into weeks as Emma dove into her new job, the pulse of the city pushing her to her limits. Jacob watched quietly, the strain beginning to show in the set of his jaw and distant gaze. One evening she found him standing alone on their balcony, city lights flickering below. "Are we losing ourselves in all this?" she asked softly. Jacob's voice was raw. "I don't want to lose us." She reached out, fingers entwining with his. Then we fight. For this, for us. In the quiet tension between ambition and love, they discovered the fragile truth. That even in the brightest lights, shadows could stretch long. But the heart's flame must never flicker out. Underneath a canopy of rain-soaked trees, Emma and Jacob found refuge in a small city park, droplets shimmering on leaves like tiny stars. Maybe this is the test, Emma whispered, pulling her coat tighter. Jacob nodded, eyes reflecting the soft rain, to hold on when everything tries to pull us apart. They walked slowly, words unnecessary in the quiet rhythm of falling rain. The city's roar faded into a gentle hush, and in that moment they remembered why they chose each other. Not for ease, but for the courage to face storms together. Their story, though weathered, grew stronger with every shared step beneath the shifting sky. The first crisp bite of autumn settled over the city as Emma and Jacob found themselves wandering through a park ablaze with fiery leaves. The crunch beneath their feet punctuated the silence between them. Jacob finally broke it, voice heavy yet hopeful. We've changed, haven't we? Not the same people who left Willow Creek. Emma smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Maybe we're better because of it. Wiser, stronger. Their fingers brushed, a tentative promise rekindling amidst the swirling leaves. Above them, the sky stretched wide and clear, a reminder that despite the storms they faced, their roots remained intertwined, anchoring them through every shift and turn. At a small art gallery opening, the air buzzed with whispered critiques and soft jazz. Emma's eyes lingered on a painting of a stormy sea, waves crashing with fierce abandon. Jacob watched her, voice quiet but certain. Life isn't always calm, but it's the fight through the storm that defines us. She nodded, heart stirred by his words. We've been tossed and battered, but here we are, still standing. Between strokes of brush and bursts of color, their story was mirrored in art, a testament to endurance, vulnerability, and the fierce beauty of love that refuses to yield, even when the world rages around it. A quiet cafe became their refuge on a rain-splattered afternoon. Emma stirred her tea thoughtfully, voice low. Do you ever wonder if we're chasing dreams that aren't meant to be caught? Jacob reached across the table, grasping her hand. Every dream is worth the chase if we're together. Outside, droplets traced slow paths down fogged windows, muffling the world beyond. Inside, the warmth of their connection wrapped around them like a soft blanket, a quiet defiance against doubt. In the stillness they found strength, not in certainty, but in the courage to keep moving forward, one heartbeat at a time. Under the glow of street lamps, Emma and Jacob walked through narrow cobblestone alleys, their breath visible in the crisp night air. Jacob's voice broke the quiet. Sometimes, I'm scared we're not enough for the world we're trying to build. Emma stopped, turning to face him, eyes fierce with conviction. We are enough. Our love is enough, and it will carry us through. Their words hung between them like a sacred vow, the silence that followed filled with unshakable resolve. In the chill of the night, they found warmth in each other, a flame that refused to flicker, a promise whispered into the stars. At home, surrounded by boxes and half-unpacked memories, Emma and Jacob shared a quiet moment of laughter amid chaos. Moving isn't just about new places, Emma said, voice light but tender. It's about carrying pieces of this life with us, no matter where we go. Jacob smiled, folding a worn scarf. Then let's make sure those pieces are worth carrying. As evening deepened, the room filled with soft shadows and the scent of familiar comforts. Their story, ever unfolding, was stitched with moments like this, fragile, imperfect, and full of hope. Together, they stepped into the next chapter, hearts brimming with the promise of all that lay ahead. A soft rain drummed against the city windows as Emma sat at her desk, papers scattered, but her mind adrift. Jacob appeared behind her, voice gentle. You're carrying too much alone. She sighed, eyes tired, yet determined. I want to make this work for us, but sometimes it feels like the weight is endless. Jacob placed a hand on her shoulder, steady and grounding. We're in this together. Let me carry some of it. In the quiet tension of shared struggles, they found renewed strength, a reminder that love was not just passion, but partnership, the quiet promise of shoulders willing to bear the load side by side. Evening light spilled through the curtains of their apartment as Emma and Jacob prepared dinner side by side. Laughter bubbled between them, breaking the tension that had settled in recent days. "Remember when we first cooked here and nearly burned the kitchen down?" Emma teased. Jacob grinned. "How could I forget your heroic rescue of the smoke alarm?" The simple act of shared routine became a balm, a reminder that love thrived not just in grand gestures but in everyday moments, messy, imperfect, and beautifully alive. Their smiles were small victories, the quiet defiance of hope thriving amid life's chaos. Under the glow of string lights in their small backyard, Emma and Jacob sat wrapped in a shared blanket, the world beyond fading into a soft blur. "Sometimes I wonder if we're enough," Emma confessed, voice barely above the whisper of the night breeze. Jacob shook his head gently. "We are more than enough. We're each other's home." Their eyes met, reflecting a constellation of quiet hopes and fierce determination. The stars overhead seemed to pulse with the rhythm of their hearts, a silent witness to the story they were still writing, one of love, resilience, and the courage to keep choosing each other. Day after day, a sudden storm erupted, thunder rolling through the sky as Emma and Jacob hurried inside, drenched but laughing. "Life keeps throwing curveballs," Emma said, shaking water from her hair. Jacob smiled, pulling her close, "and we keep catching them, together." Wrapped in towels and warmth, they watched rain streak the windows, the tempest outside mirrored by the storm of emotions within. The chaos was unsettling, but their bond, steady and unwavering, was the calm center. In that small, soaked moment, they understood love wasn't about avoiding storms, but finding shelter in each other's arms when the world raged loudest. Morning light spilled gently through lace curtains as Emma and Jacob lay tangled in quiet comfort. "No matter what comes next," Jacob murmured, brushing hair from her face, "I want to face it with you." Emma smiled, fingers tracing soft patterns on his skin. "We've come so far, and this is just the beginning." The promise in their words wove a fragile but unbreakable thread between past struggles and future dreams. Outside, birds heralded the new day, a soft symphony of hope and renewal. In the tender stillness of dawn, their story breathed deep, ready to meet whatever horizons awaited with courage and love. Winter's first snowflakes drifted lazily over the city, dusting rooftops in soft white, as Emma and Jacob strolled through a quiet park wrapped in scarves and coats. The cold bit at their cheeks, but warmth bloomed between them. Jacob pulled Emma close, voice low. "We've faced so much. What if the future holds more we can't see?" She smiled, breath visible in the chilly air. "Then we'll face it like always, together." The world around them faded into a frosted haze, their footsteps the only sound in the hushed white landscape. In that frozen moment, time seemed to hold still, the fragile beauty of love glowing bright against winter's cold. Inside their apartment, the scent of pine and cinnamon filled the air as Emma hung twinkling lights around the room. Jacob watched with a soft smile, voice quiet. "Even in the darkest months, you make everything glow." Emma laughed, reaching for his hand. "We make it glow, together." Outside, snow continued to fall, turning the city into a quiet wonderland. Their shared space became a haven against the cold, a place where hope shimmered like the lights wrapped around the window, reflecting the steadfastness of a love that refused to dim, no matter the storm. A sudden knock echoed through the quiet apartment, breaking the peaceful cocoon. Emma opened the door to find an old friend, unexpected yet familiar. "You've changed," the visitor said softly. Jacob stepped forward, voice steady. "Change isn't always bad, it's growth." Emma nodded, heart pounding. "We're still the same at the core, just different." The moment was fragile, charged with memories and unspoken truths. In the soft glow of the hallway light, past and present collided, reminding them that growth often came wrapped in challenge, and the choice to face it head-on defined who they truly were. Snow fell heavier as Emma and Jacob ventured out, determined to reclaim a forgotten neighborhood park. Shovels in hand, they worked side by side, laughter ringing through the crisp air. "It's like breathing life back into forgotten dreams," Emma said, cheeks flushed from effort. Jacob grinned, "and reminding ourselves why we fight." The park, slowly freed from winter's grip, became a symbol of resilience, a shared project mirroring their own journey. With each cleared path, they carved a space for hope, proving that even buried beneath cold and silence, life could bloom again with enough care and love. That night, wrapped in blankets by the fire, Emma and Jacob shared stories of the past year, the struggles, triumphs, and quiet moments that shaped them. "We've come so far," Emma said softly, eyes reflecting flickering flames. Jacob nodded, "And there's still so much ahead. But with you, I am ready." The firelight danced across their faces, casting shadows that told a story of endurance and unwavering love. Outside, winter winds howled, but inside their sanctuary, time folded gently around them, a testament to the strength born of shared dreams and the courage to keep building a future hand in hand. Spring breathed new life into the city as Emma and Jacob walked hand in hand through blooming gardens. The air was thick with the scent of jasmine and fresh earth. Jacob paused, eyes shining with quiet wonder. "After everything, we're still growing, still becoming." Emma smiled, her heart full. "Like these flowers, we've survived the cold to blossom again." They lingered beneath the budding branches, the soft hum of bees and distant laughter weaving into their shared rhythm. It was a moment heavy with gratitude and promise, a celebration of all that had been weathered and all that lay ahead, bright and endless. The small cafe where it all began buzzed softly with morning light and familiar faces. Emma and Jacob sat close, sharing a quiet moment over coffee. "We've come full circle," Emma said, voice warm with nostalgia. Jacob nodded, "But every ending is just a new beginning." Their smiles were slow, genuine, the kind that come from deep knowing. Around them, the world moved on, new stories unfolding, new dreams igniting. But here, in this timeless space, their own story remained steady, rooted in love, resilience, and the endless possibility of tomorrow. On a quiet rooftop under a star-filled sky, Emma and Jacob stood side by side, wrapped in blankets against the cool night air. "We've come so far from those early days," Jacob said softly, eyes reflecting constellations. Emma nodded. "And yet it feels like the journey is just beginning." The city lights twinkled below like scattered stars, mirroring the infinite possibilities ahead. They shared a silent promise, one forged through trials and triumphs, a bond stronger than ever. In that quiet moment, beneath the vastness of the universe, their love felt boundless, an enduring beacon guiding them forward. A gentle rain began to fall as Emma and Jacob walked through the city's quiet streets, their pace unhurried. "I used to fear the storms," Emma whispered, voice soft and steady. Jacob smiled, squeezing her hand, "But now we know they only make us stronger." The rain shimmered like silver threads around them, washing away doubts and fears. In the rhythm of their footsteps and the pulse of falling drops, they found a quiet joy, one born of shared struggles and unwavering commitment. Together they moved forward, ready to meet whatever weather life brought, hearts open and steady. As dawn broke, Emma and Jacob stood at the edge of a quiet lake, the first light casting shimmering gold across the water's surface. "No matter what comes next," Jacob said, voice filled with conviction, "we face it together, always." Emma smiled, eyes bright with hope. "Our story isn't just about what's behind us, but all that lies ahead." The world awakened slowly around them, bird song threading through the crisp morning air. Hand in hand, they stepped forward, hearts intertwined, ready to write the next chapters of a story that was theirs alone, unfolding with every breath, every step, every moment shared.